Hola, mi nombre es Hisatsu 5. Привет, меня зовут Hisatsu 5. Guten Tag, ich heiße Hisatsu 5. Salve, me chamo Hisatsu 5. Ni hao, wo jiao Hisatsu 5. Konnichiwa, watashi wa Hisatsu 5. Hello, my name is Hisatsu 5. This was a video request, and it also happens to be the most asked question I get here on YouTube, and in real life. And that is, where are you from? What accent is that? Are you European? Are you Australian? Are you Creole? And the answer is no, and I don't know. I get asked quite often what accent this is, and I usually tell them I either don't know or it's because I was born premature. And which doesn't really explain it, because my brother, we're twins, we were born at the same time, but he doesn't talk like this. So, well, I guess I'm really lucky, though, that most of the people, about 80%, hear me and think it's a accent and not a speech impediment. A lot of people think that I'm foreign, and I guess I'd rather people think that I'm foreign than slow, because the other percentage of people who listen to me usually think I'm slow. And I've caught a lot of BS both in grade school and here on YouTube because of those types of people, trolls. But trolls don't have a whole lot going in their lives. They have nothing else better to do than to look at other people and point out the obvious. Let them have their time, That might be the only good thing that happens to them that day, is they get to make themselves feel superior, even though they're not. But anyways, people often assume that I'm foreign, and I never actually realized I had a speech impediment until I want to say primary. I can't remember how old I was, but when I talked, I always heard myself as talking normal. I never really listened to myself talk before, and one time I was watching a video of both me and my brother when I was talking, and it just sounded like a completely different person. I didn't recognize that voice, and it still, today, when I'm talking in person and I'm listening to myself, a lot of times I'll sound normal to myself, but when I listen to myself here on video, I'll sound completely different to myself. And I don't know why. That's strange. Every now and then when I talk, I can catch me stuttering or mispronouncing words. For the most part, to me, it sounds like I'm talking normal. And for the longest time, my grandmother would tell me that I need to learn to talk plain, I need to learn to speak plainly. And I never really knew what she meant by that. For the longest time, I did not realize I had a speech impediment. And then when I found out, it was like a shock to me. I was like, whoa, I had no idea. So I started speech therapy in primary. I did it the following summer. I can't remember if I did it in elementary or not. I probably did it off and on. And then through junior high I did it. And I can't remember if it was the 7th or 8th grade. I finally told my speech therapy teacher that I wasn't coming anymore. I decided to quit, and that I was going to just give up. That this was pretty much as good as it's going to get. So I quit. Haven't been to speech therapy since. And I realize I have the speech impediment. I realize I do stutter every now and then. And yes, I do know that I say a lot. I'll reshoot a video 50 times trying to cut those ums out of a video. There you go again, I did it again. But I'll try to get those out. Something I really don't like, I hate it when people refer to my speech impediment as a lisp. For some reason, that terminology doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't digest well with me. And I don't like it when people refer to it as lisp, and they'll say, "Hey Austin, I know you have a lisp, but would you feel comfortable playing this part in a play? For instance, when I was in one-act play. And I just really didn't like people calling it a lisp. For some reason, I just don't like it. And it's also kind of funny. I really don't like listening to myself talk. When I'm talking at the moment, like in real person, to me, I kind of, like I said, I sound normal and it doesn't bother me. But when I'm watching my videos or listening to me on tape, I really don't like it. And I pretty much try to avoid watching my own videos. I only really watch them for the sake of quality control. And that's pretty much the only time I watch them. And, that's just it. I associate my accent with, when I hear other people with my type of accent as being slow. I know that's wrong because it's not always the case. But I don't want other people thinking of me like that. And again, with the trolls, I try not to let them get to me, but there have been some moments where they did get to me, and I'd respond back to their comments and messages, and I'll try to prove to them that I can articulate myself a lot better than I sound when I'm actually talking. And it's a waste of time. They're trolls. Like I said, they're hundreds of miles away, sometimes thousands of miles away, and they're just cowards who like to pick on people between a computer screen, knowing that nothing bad can happen to them. Although I did push this one guy's buttons pretty good that this one time, but I'm not going to talk about that. Sometimes when I concentrate really hard, I can say all sounds a little bit better, but not perfectly. And when I do say them better, it's more or less a fluke, in my opinion. Mostly with all problems is when I have alls preceding the end of the word, like world or world. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand the difference between those two. And I can pretty easily say alls that start with it at the beginning of words. I can say rabbit, rage, rat. Let's see, another regret, renegade. I can say pretty much all the all words that start at the beginning of a word, but it's when alls proceed in the middle or the end of the words that I have problems with. And let's think of a all word that starts at the end, or that is at the end of the word, besides word. Those beaver, oval, I can't really think of any right now. That's strange. Oval, all, as in a paddle, or all as in all this. I have issues with the all sounds and a few other sounds. But if I were to say my ABCs and you were to listen, as soon as I say all, you'll realize that that's the problem level. And a lot of times when I'm talking to someone, I'll try to avoid certain all words, so I sound, I guess, normal, what people consider normal. And that's about it. Some people think that all Southerners talk like me now. I have people who watch my videos and they'll say, "Oh, what a redneck," or inbred or whatever, which really gets on my nerves because I don't want people thinking me of as a redneck. But there's some people who think that this is a Southern accent, which it is not. I'm one of the few people in the South that talks like this. I'm Hisatsu5. This is just a little video explaining my speech impediment. I have sought help, but it really didn't give me any. I just gotta live with it. And I hope you learned something from this video, or that you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too boring. If you have any other questions about me as an individual, and it's not knife related, feel free to ask. I'll answer them. But I prefer to answer nice questions, but yeah, I'll answer just about any question you ask me. If you ask me the meaning of life, I'll give you an answer, but doesn't mean it's necessarily right. I'm Satsu5, and I am out.